This is part 2 of the South Asia test tutorials while I will finish going over the rest of the test review. We'll start with number 12 on your review. The term partition is what we use to describe what happened when India got its independence from Great Britain. When India got its independence from Great Britain, there was a bit of a dispute because although Hinduism was the majority religion, there were parts of the colony that were predominantly Muslim. And the Muslims in the colony did not want to be in the same country as the rest of the Indians that were Hindu. And so what they wanted to have happen was a separate country for the Muslims. Of course, Gandhi was against this and wanted everybody to be together in the same country, but eventually Gandhi had to compromise and allow there to be two separate countries to be created. So when independence happened in 1947, there were two separate countries. Wherever there was a Hindu majority, they drew that border and called it India. And wherever there was a Muslim majority, they drew that border and called it Pakistan. This happened in 1947 when India got its independence. The problem is there was a Muslim majority on two sides of the country. And so that's how we ended up in 1947 with West Pakistan and East Pakistan, the same country on two different sides of India. Pakistan had a Muslim majority and India had a Hindu majority. It was this way for a couple of decades until eventually in 1971, East Pakistan got its independence from Pakistan and became the independent country of Bangladesh. So that's why today Pakistan and Bangladesh both have Muslim majorities, while India still has a Hindu majority. There is a territory that is disputed between Pakistan and India, and that place is called Kashmir. One of the major reasons why they are in dispute over Kashmir is because Kashmir is where the Indus River begins. And if you control where the river begins, then you get to control its headwaters. You get to control the direction that the river takes. And so that has a lot of value to both of these two countries. It's also believed to have some religious significance as well for India, so that's why they particularly want it, although Pakistan claims some significance to the land as well. So we got some holy sites in contention. We have the control of the rivers and the water itself in contention. And that's why these two countries are in major conflict still today over the control of this territory. The reason why this conflict between the two countries is such a big deal is because both Pakistan and India have nuclear weapons. And we never like it when two countries that have nuclear weapons are in conflict with each other, because if they used them, that would be a really bad thing. Outsourcing is the term for jobs that go from a more developed country to a country that is less developed or newly industrialized. We see a lot of outsourcing happen from the United States to India. Typically, jobs that are outsourced are in the technology industry, and so we see a lot of computer programming, we see a lot of customer service, technical support, and telemarketing being done by people in India, because the people in India can be educated well, they can speak English, most of them do already speak English, and they can do those jobs a lot cheaper than people in the United States. And so Americans' jobs have been outsourced. Americans are losing their jobs, and their jobs are now being done by people in India. Of course, it's a great thing for the people of India because now they are getting these really prime, high-paying jobs compared to a lot of the people in the country. But those jobs are going away from Americans because to these companies that employ these people, they are trying to maximize their profits. And if they outsource jobs to India, then that's where they're going to be able to make the most money. Microcredits are a term for very small loans that are given to people in very poor countries. And these very small loans, micro loans, meaning they can be anywhere like around $20 or in many cases much less than that, can be used to start a business. And they're not the businesses that you're probably thinking of. They could be anything as simple as buying a cell phone and then renting out the use of that cell phone to people in a village so they can all talk on that phone and call people in other parts of the world. Or they might get a loan to buy a loom, which they can use to weave thread and make some colorful fabric that they can then go and sell in a market. Microcredits are an extremely powerful thing because they are getting people out of poverty, and especially women. Women are being able to break this cycle of poverty and start these businesses, pay off their loans, and being able to provide for their families in a way that they hadn't been able to before. The country that we see a lot of microcredits happening in South Asia is Bangladesh, but you can find microcredits in countries all over the world, including many African countries. So microcredits aren't just a South Asian thing, but they are a very, very big deal. The majority of people in South Asia live as subsistence farmers. Remember that subsistence farming is when you farm just enough for you and your family to get by. And we're going to find subsistence farming happening in countries that are typically less developed. The less developed a country is, the more subsistence farmers you are going to have. And so that's how most of these people are able to eat and how they are able to live. I'm skipping a lot of the questions because on the second part of the review because they were answered earlier on in this tutorial, but the last question has to do with a religion called Sikhism. Sikhism is a combination of Islam and Hinduism. It began in a particular region of India, and Sikhism is a monotheistic religion, so they believe in one God. However, Sikhism also believes in the concept of karma and reincarnation. So they believe in one God, but they still believe that when you die, you are going to be reborn into another body. You see the turban that this man in the picture is wearing because most Sikhs will cover their heads in a turban. The men do not cut their hair, and so all of his hair is placed up in that turban. Like I said, most of the Sikhs in the world are located in that one province of India still. However, you will find them worldwide. That's the end of the review, but just as a reminder, you definitely want to study your maps. So make sure that you know all of these countries. There's not a lot of them, so expect most, if not all, of those countries to be on the map portion of the test. And you will also need to know those physical features. There's a handful of rivers. You got the Himalayas, you got Mount Everest in Nepal. You need to know what bodies of water those rivers flow into. We have the Indus flowing into the Indian Ocean or the Arabian Sea, and then you have the Ganges and the Brahmaputra flowing into the Bay of Bengal. Make sure you know those bodies of water. Make sure you know those landforms that are on your map, because you will see those map questions pop up, not just in the map portion of the test, but you could also see some actual test questions where you have to know the map in order to get the question right. If you use those apps like Tap Quiz Maps on your phone, then those are great, but they will only help you with the countries. So please make sure you're studying the physical features as well. If you need to hear this stuff again and you are sick of hearing my voice, then you can come to tutorials on Thursday morning, and those are going to be at 8:15 in Miss Rosie's room. If you have any questions, you can always stop by and find me in C215, or you can find Miss Rosie in C212. I hope you have fun studying, and good luck on your test.